Pittsburgh Steelers are set up for a massive signing as they bring in a star fullback who can change our offense dramatically as we look to revamp and improve our offense for the next season of Steelers football. My name is Peyton Kleppe, and on today's episode of Steelers Digest, we'll be diving into the new running back the Pittsburgh Steelers are scheduled to meet with. My name is Peyton Kleppe. Real quick, before we get into the news today, I'm going to need you guys to click that subscribe button down below. 91% of our current viewers are not subscribed. So if you click that subscribe button down below, we're going to get you guys the latest Pittsburgh Steelers rumors, news, trades, draft news, free agency, anything Pittsburgh Steelers, we're going to get right to you each and every day. Let's get it right into the news. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have met with fullback Kyle Juszczyk. You know, Kyle Juszczyk's been an All-Pro and probably the best fullback for the last 10 years in the NFL. Unfortunately, the fullback position is a dying position, and not too many teams even have a fullback on their roster. Back in the old days when football was primarily the football sport, fullbacks were featured in 90% of NFL offenses, but as the passing game has continued to change the game, fullbacks have been used less and less in most NFL offenses. But, after being released by the 49ers, Kyle Juszczyk is scheduled to visit. Well, he actually already visited with the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday. He's been with the 49ers since 2017. He's been to 9 Pro Bowls in the last 9 years. So, he's been in the Pro Bowl pretty much every single year. And he's caught 19 passes for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he took 5 carries for 26 yards and got a touchdown to add alongside that. So, Kyle Juszczyk also had a score, I believe, in the Super Bowl in 2019. So this guy's got a ton of knowledge, he's got a ton of experience, and he's also played with one of our AFC North rivals in the Ravens. He was originally drafted by the Ravens and played there until 2017. If you guys remember, he had that touchdown before the Immaculate Extension, and I believe it was 2015 or 2016 when that did occur. But yeah, he actually played for the Ravens for a few different years before he signed with the Niners. So bringing this guy in, he knows AFC North football. He knows what it's like to play in the AFC North, and he can just fit right into Arthur Smith's offense. But this really brings up a lot of questions what the Steelers want to do with the offense in 2025 because we really have not had a fullback on our team, on our roster since Derek Watt a few years ago. We signed him to a 2-3 year deal after he left the Chargers, and he played in our offense pretty sparingly. It was more of to keep TJ on the team. We signed his big bro, and that was the year where JJ was also a free agent, so we were trying to get all the Infinity Stones, get all the Watts, but unfortunately we could not get JJ. But bringing it all back, Derek really wasn't utilized in our offense, and I don't even think he fulfilled his full 3 years with the team. I think they released him a year or two prior to his contract expiring. So, the Steelers have also brought in another tight end this offseason in Donald Parham Jr. from the Chargers. So, it really brings up a lot of questions what the Steelers are going to do with the offense because, Parham is a tight end, and the only other tight ends we have on our roster are Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, and Connor Hayward. So that brings our tight end count to 4. So are the Pittsburgh Steelers trying to kick Hayward out of town? Connor Hayward is primarily our main fullback at the moment. He's more of a hybrid player, so he plays fullback and tight end. And he's really the only guy on the roster who really would play fullback other than if we did bring in Kyle Juszczyk. So, bringing Kyle Juszczyk into town and having him in on a sign-in and a visit really brings the question on whether the Steelers really want to keep Connor Hayward in the long-term plans or they want to let him walk once his contract expires. I believe he's set to be a free agent next year. So, he was not drafted when Arthur Smith was our offensive coordinator. So it also brings into question whether or not Arthur Smith likes Connor Hayward, bringing in guys like Donald Parham and, possibly signing Kyle Juszczyk. Because Connor Hayward, he's more of a gadget guy. He's really used here and there, but he is younger than Kyle Juszczyk, so that is one thing he has over Juszczyk. And additionally, Kyle Juszczyk, he has left the Pittsburgh Steelers, facility without a contract. So keeping an eye on this. We will see if the Pittsburgh Steelers will sign this guy to a contract or not. They could have just brought him in on his visit just to see how he is, if he's in good shape. And, there really has not been any news whether or not they're going to bring this guy in and sign him and lock him down. So it's definitely a situation that we should keep our eyes on. Like I said, Kyle Juszczyk, bringing him in, he could play more of that fullback role that we don't have, that we try to use Connor Hayward as. But, Kyle Juszczyk, this is his primary position, fullback. Like I said, he was a gadget guy on the Niners. He did have a role in their offense where he would roll out of the backfield, catch a pass, or, he's also a great blocker, so he would be the primary blocker for Jaylen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, and whoever we decide to bring in through the draft. This guy would not really play the halfback position. He would play primarily fullback and be the lead blocker for whoever we decide to bring in as our primary running back. I still think we're going to bring in another halfback in the draft, whether that is the guy from Ohio State, whether that will be Ashton Jeanty. It remains to be seen. The Steelers really have not – they've held their cards pretty close to their body. They're not really given any information on what they plan to do. They've signed a lot of weird free agents this offseason. Kenneth Gainwell himself is really not a player I thought the Steelers were going to sign because he's very similar to Jaylen Warren, and same with Juszczyk and Parham. Those are guys that the Steelers really they're not really needs for our team. Like I said, we have Freiermuth, Darnell, and Connor at tight end already, so I'm not really sure why the Steelers brought in Parham. I mean, he is a big body, so they could use him more as a blocker like Darnell. But bringing in Juszczyk is a little weird for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like I said, our offense really has not featured a fullback since Derek Watt. A few years ago, I believe 2020 was his last year in the black and gold. And Connor Hayward, we lined him up at fullback, like I said, but he's not primarily a fullback. He is usually lined up at tight end, but here and there in the past couple years, they have been putting him at fullback. But they could be thinking, hey, we want a real fullback. We want a guy who this is his full-time job. This is his full-time position. So they could look to bring in Juszczyk, which I think us Steelers fans would like. He is a hard-nosed player. He is, a great leader, a great locker room guy, and his accolades speak for himself. He's got 9 Pro Bowls. He's been All-Pro probably about 8 or 9 times as well. So if we do add this guy to our team, I only expect him to come in on probably a 1-2 year minimum deal, but we'll have to wait and see. The Pittsburgh Steelers have not currently signed him yet, but they could look to sign him in the next couple of days. That is all I have for you guys today on Steelers Digest. If you guys have not clicked that subscribe button already, click it right now. Peace out. Let's go Steelers.